this is part that was crazy. She followed me into the police station where I went to report her for harassing me. They didn't believe it at first. They were looking at me, looking at her, thinking, no. Then the cop talked to her, and they take you in separate rooms and they talk to each of you to get your story. And the cop who was talking to her came to the cop who was talking to me and said, I quote, "This bitch is crazy."
This is the Newsload.
Hi, I'm Carrie Anne. I'm here with Newsload, and today I am so excited to interview Alonzo Bodden. Hi, Alonzo.
Hello, Carrie Anne. How are you?
I'm amazing. Where are you right now?
I'm home. I'm in LA. I just escaped the snow of St. Paul and came home to a hailstorm in LA, which is unheard of. So I don't know what's going on with the weather.
A hailstorm?
Yes, I know. Hard to believe, right? Yes, we had hail in LA yesterday. I don't know. We're 3 weeks from the end of the world. I don't know if you're aware of that. So,
as Canadians, we're sending our winter to you.
Exactly. Global warming in reverse, I guess. I don't know.
So how are you feeling about the Just for Laughs festival being shut down?
It's like losing an old friend. I have been involved with Just for Laughs. I did New Faces in 1997. That's how long I've been involved with Just for Laughs, which probably before you were born, I was doing Just for Laughs. And I had been there every year since 2008. So I was just part of the furniture. Sorry, he just saw a bird. Hey, Hulk, leave it.
What kind of dog do you have?
Great Dane.
Oh,
yeah.
A big dog for a big one.
That's why you can hear him.
Can he get up on the countertops and everything?
Oh, he doesn't have to get up. His head is this height. Hey, come here. Come here, Hulk. Hey, come here. I'll show you. Come here. Clown and run. Yeah. You lazy ass over here. Come here and say hello.
Hello, hey. Hulk.
Hey. Up there. Hey.
What all a right. Beautiful boy.
Go back to sleep.
Dogs are great. I find, having to get up in the morning and take them for a walk and get fresh air, it forces you to be active. Yeah,
he's the best thing I ever did. He's great. You know what I like about dogs? They live in the moment. No worries. They're just like, I got a bone. I got a rug. I'm good. That's where he is right now.
And they're so happy to see you. My friends don't pee on the floor when they're so excited to see me.
Which is probably good.
So I've been stalking you a little bit, and apparently you went to aviation school.
Yeah, my first career was in aerospace. I went to aviation high school in New York. I graduated as a licensed airplane mechanic and spent 10 years as a mechanic and 3 years training. And that indirectly led to comedy because when I started training people and got in front of a room, I was comfortable. A lot of people are nervous in front of people. It was very natural to me. So I already knew I could make people laugh, and the two came together.
And so you just discovered that you were funny and have made a very successful career because of it.
Well, I'd always knew I could make people laugh. That was just, a sense of humor was inherent, something I was born with. I didn't know I could do it in front of people until I started training people and got in front of a room. That's when it was like, oh, I can do this. And then I just thought about being a comic after doing that for a couple of years, and I tried comedy and never looked back.
You have a very laid back sort of personality, though. And, I always think of like Chris Tucker and, like super hyper and everything. And you have a very low key, attempt at your humor. Do you find that you tried being hyper and it didn't work for you?
No, I'm not a hyper person. I think you go with what energy you have. So, I'm no Stephen Wright. I'm not there. Franklin Ajay. another great comic from the 80s who was one of my heroes. He was a low key guy, but it's just naturally my personality. I'm not super high energy, which sells, but it's just not my energy. It sells in comedy, authenticity. So for me to pretend to be, Kevin Hart energy, like, no, it's not going to happen because I'm not that guy.
And you can't make yourself half the size that you are.
Right, right. But people, there's different levels of energy in comedy and different levels, but people respond to authenticity. So again, for me to pretend to be high energy, running and jumping around just wouldn't work. Also, it's very tiring, very tiring.
Speaking of tiring, being on tour is exhausting. What are your secrets to keeping your, stamina?
Well, actually, I probably get more rest on the road than I do at home because there aren't as many demands on my time, right? Like you said, getting up in the morning, walking the dog, and just general things. So the toughest part, I tell everyone, they pay me to travel. I tell jokes for free. Airlines, airplanes, and airports have become the worst. The service is bad. It's just, that's what beats you up. But beyond that, when I'm in another town and I'm in a hotel and I have nothing to do, that's plenty of rest. So there's that. I try to exercise, I used to go to the gym at hotels, and hotel gyms have actually improved, but I haven't. So now I do more walking around and just try to keep moving. Because once you stop, it's hard to start again.
You bet. A rolling stone collects no moss.
Exactly.
Have you ever dealt with someone who was unprofessional with a, real ego? And how did you deal with that?
Well, comedians, we don't have that as much as actors. Because when you're a comedian, you know what you're judged on? Are you funny? So you can be the biggest star, you can have the most money, whatever. But when you're on stage and when you're in the green room, the question is, are you funny? And most comics, we're pretty cool with each other. We don't have, it's not like acting, there's no comic walking around saying you can't look directly at me or don't talk. I think the only issue to superstars, and I'm talking, the superstars of comedy, the Hart, Chappelle, Wanda Sykes, people like that. I think the only thing they're guarded about is people asking them for things. A lot of people ask them, can I open for you? Can you get me this? Can you help me with that? And I think they become somewhat guarded about that. But beyond that, it's not an ego thing. It's just a matter of, hey, I'm just here working and I'm not, I've hung out. I've been lucky enough to work with and hang out with the biggest names in comedy, and I've never run into an ego thing. Like I say, a thing of being a bit guarded about being asked for stuff, which I understand, but ego, no, just never really ran into it. Because if you're funny, you're cool, and if you're not funny, what are you doing here?
And if you're a dick in the green room, they're not really going to want to talk to you anyway. So,
oh yeah, that doesn't work for a minute. And the biggest problem new comics have is they try to be funny all the time. And it's like, listen, you're not going to be the funniest in the green room. You might be the loudest, but you're not going to be the funniest. So,
and being the loudest sometimes is kind of annoying, especially if we're trying to focus before the show. Sometimes, do you get stage fright?
no, I don't get. There's a little. If it's the first time I worked a room, first time being somewhere, there might be a little anxiety about getting the first laugh. But no, I've been doing this too long to get stage fright. Some people, they use that energy. I know a couple of comics who always get nervous because that energy carries them on stage, but I'm not one of them.
Have you had crazy fans do anything nuts?
I had a stalker. I had a stalker, and yeah, she was full on psycho and dedicated because she was from Germany. And she actually came to the US. Initially, when I met her, I didn't realize she was crazy. I thought she was just, a big fan, and had a cup of coffee, and I was like, that's, thank you, and that's it. Wasn't anything sexual, no interest in anything. It wasn't anything. Then
On your part, the sexuality
well,
was
I don't
that
think
she
on
was in
hers
love
either.
with you.
I don't know. She showed up at a couple of shows, and then it got to be weird when she bought a front row seat for every show for a weekend I was doing in Tampa, and tried to monopolize my time in the, meet and greet and merch after the show. And it was like, you can't do that. And then the club was like, hey, this woman's kind of weird, So we flagged her name so that they wouldn't sell her tickets. Then she bought tickets under another name, showed up at another show. Security had to escort her out. She tried to get into a casino, not realizing casinos have facial recognition, so they stopped it right away. And ultimately, I was doing a show in a little town called Martha's Vineyard, which is an island off the coast of Massachusetts. And she just walked up on me, and she had found where the show was, where the hotel was, and she followed me. This is the part that was crazy. She followed me into the police station where I went to report her for harassing me. They didn't believe it at first. They were looking at me, looking at her, thinking, no. Then the cop talked to her, and, they take you in separate rooms and they talk to each of you to get your story. And the cop who was talking to her came to the cop who was talking to me and said, I quote, "This bitch is crazy. Get him out of here. This bitch is crazy." And they ended up sending her off the island, and I don't know whatever happened to her, but yeah. So that was the
Yay,
most.
us Germans, we always go the hardest. We're so good at it. I'm sorry that this woman.
Well, it wasn't. I never felt in danger, but it's like I understand, and I already understood, but it's really for a woman that would be a terrifying situation. I get that. For me, it was an annoyance, and yeah, I know she could have been crazy enough to try something violent, but I never felt in danger. I felt annoyed, but I could see how, it could be dangerous for someone else.
My favorite was hearing Nicolas Cage's stalker was in his bedroom while Nicolas Cage was in his bedroom with his leather jacket, naked, other than the leather jacket, eating one of his popsicles.
Yeah, well, at that level of stardom, right? Movie star, stalker, record stalker, the people become incredibly obsessed, and it's almost like, if you use that energy in a different way, you might get somewhere, but I don't know, it's a different mindset, right? So, because they believe it's a relationship.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Speaking of celebrities, have you worked with anyone that has left you starstruck?
Wow. A lot of people, usually musicians. It's usually musicians. As a matter of fact, I have a gig coming up with Michael McDonald and Patti LaBelle. When you meet Patti LaBelle, you just have the sense you're meeting royalty. I've met her before. She is fantastic, but she just has an aura around her. Like, they toss that word diva around. She is a diva. Let's see, who else have I met? Like I say, comedians, we know each other, we meet each other as comics, so it's not the same it's not the same energy. I've met numerous jazz musicians because I love jazz. There's a woman out now named Samara Joy. She won the Grammy for Best New Artist last year. She is a generational talent. Meeting her was pretty cool. Robert Glasper, another multi-Grammy award-winning musician, producer whose music I just love. When you're a fan of somebody and you meet them, and they say, be careful of meeting your heroes, and then they're as cool as you expect them to be or as hope they be, that's always a bonus. So those are the kind of people. I haven't met many movie stars or actors. I guess I'd like to meet Denzel Washington. Like, I'd like to see if he's as cool as he appears to be. And people I know who know him say, yes, he is. Sam Jackson, I hear, is a really cool guy, but I haven't crossed paths with him. So yeah, I've met some. I met Selma Hayek. She's as stunningly beautiful as you expect, and she was funny and fun, which was very cool. She was very nice.
And sweet too. Selma Hayek, has a heart of gold. Google Images asked me if a picture of Selma was me, and I was like, yeah, sure, I'll go with that. Yeah, sure. Well, Alonzo, same for me. You're not supposed to meet your heroes, but I absolutely adore you, and it's been a beyond delight chatting with you. You are sweet and funny and lovely. Are you coming to Canada anytime soon?
Well, with JFL shutting down the festival, I won't be there. They're still doing tours, so my hope is to get on one of the tours. I love Canada. I've been coming to Canada, like I say, since 1997. I mean, Canada seems to love me. I met Trudeau, who apparently you guys don't love anymore, but was a beautiful man. He really is a beautiful man to meet.
I like him. He's got great hair, and he's single now, so I have a chance.
There you go. So yeah, I have a love affair with Canada, so I'll definitely be back. AlonzoBodden.com is the website. ZoFunny is the Instagram, ZOFUNNY. You can find me. Please tell your fans to follow me, and I look forward to getting back to Canada. Love it up there.
Absolutely. And if you can, make it to Toronto or London, that would be incredible to be able to meet you face to face.
All right. Well, the next time I tour, you come see me. I will be there. I promise you I'll get back up there.
Wonderful, wonderful. One last thing, if I can ask you to say it loud, say it proud. I love Newsload.
I love Newsload. This is comedian Alonzo Bodden. I love Newsload. I love Canada. I love Carrie Anne. I love it all.
Thank you so much, Alonzo. I hope you have an amazing day, and give Hulk lots of kisses for me.
Will do. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
This is the Newsload.